Pesticides and their effects. Pesticides are compounds used to control pests, such as with agriculture. The global population has doubled in the past 50 years, but the suitable land for agriculture has only increased 10%. This is where pesticides come into the picture to meet the ever-growing food needs of the world.
So what current research do we have on pesticides, and what were the intended effects in the beginning when we first started using pesticides? As we all know, the main purpose of pesticides is to control specific pests, and this was the intended effects in the beginning. For example, in agriculture, pests have been used to control weeds, insect infestation, and diseases. However, current research shows that data on pesticides has remained unavailable, and as a result of this, the proportions of the active ingredients within pesticides is not accurately reflected. Overall, we do not know what ingredients go into pesticides now, and the intended effects of pesticides have turned negative. So, what could cause unintended effects with pesticides? The answer to this is pesticide contamination. Currently, many sources have been found to be held responsible for this. An example that goes into further detail is when the immunotoxicity pesticide was given to mammals to affect the function of both their local and systematic immune system. As a result of this pesticide, mammals' infection and parasite rate increased and the overall mortality rate of mammals increased.
Population levels effects of pesticides. Effects on target populations, which are insects. Mass death due to the chronic exposure of pesticides. Decrease in colony sizes and the amount of individual colonies. This threatens genetic variation in insect populations. There has also been noted a disruption of pollinating insects, behavioral confusion due to neurotoxicity and reduction in individual size of insects, effects on unintended populations, mass death in aquatic populations, making fish species the most directly affected vertebrates, amphibians and reptiles population in decline due to the decrease in food sources and disruption in mating chemicals. Mammals are experiencing an increased mortality rate due to disruptions in the endocrine system caused by the use of pesticides. Community and ecosystem effects of pesticides. Effects of pesticides on communities. Due to weakening population, communities are experiencing an increase in parasites that has been observed by researchers. A decrease in natural predators has led to some communities being left unchecked. Pesticides have been linked to a decrease in plant diversity affecting many communities. Limited studies have been done on microbes, but it is suspected that it is being largely impacted by the use of pesticides. Effects of pesticides on ecosystems. Many nutrient cycles have been heavily impacted by pesticide use. An overall decrease in genetic diversity has been noted. This threatens to disrupt the world's ecosystem, which will have effects on an unprecedented level.
The article included 2 infographics to illustrate the findings that were just discussed. This flowchart shows exactly how the pesticides work as a cause and effect relationship with the environment. The impact of the pesticides are the yellow marks, and the impact on the climate change are the green marks. As you can see, the pesticides and the metabolites on the right side of the graph show the immediate effects alone, including poisoning and population growth. The second infographic discusses the more specific effects on different groups of animals as individuals, as a population, as a community altogether, and then entirely as an ecosystem. A few examples would include altered behavior, altered metabolism, and reproduction failure in mammals, mass death and population decline in birds, and an impaired phytoplankton in plants and fungi. These effects in a community lead to a decline in natural predators and a decline in plant diversity. This then disrupts the ecosystem as a whole, leading to a decreasing habitat heterogeneity.
So what are some solutions to the current problem of pesticides? One is the use of more modern pesticides that will cause less direct harm on non-target species. Another is to decrease factors that contribute to global warming, as studies have shown that rising temperatures mixed with pesticides produce an unwanted magnified effect. A final solution is more advanced pesticides to target microorganisms. These leave bigger beneficial organisms such as bees alone. However, these solutions are not without their drawbacks. For the use of modern pesticides, it is hard to predict harmful indirect effects on non-target species, such as changing species interactions in their ecosystems. For decreasing global warming, this would require a global systematic change. And for those that only target microorganisms, this could cause microbes to become more resistant to pesticides in a shorter time span. Therefore, we cannot conclude any further until more research is done.